What's going on, guys? It's me, JT, but you can call me Nick. That's right, we are back, and we are. I finally finished it. I know. Guys, I was supposed to be I should have done. I was supposed to do this like 3 weeks ago, but then for some reason I wasn't bothered to read the last story. I wasn't bothered to read the new kid. I wasn't bothered to read. I don't know why, but yeah, that's right. We're actually gonna do it now. So, I am excited. So, let's go. So, there's a lot of stuff in this book. This is probably one of the like. It's really good. It's good. It's a good book. It's probably my second favorite out of the series. My first favorite's Into the Pit, as you know. Second favorite, 1:35 a.m. and and third favorite is Fetch. Step Closer will be coming soon. It's already out, so I think I'll be getting it soon. Um, yeah, so it's a really good book. This is probably one of the best ones out of them all. Has some good stories. The first story is the one that I didn't like. Okay, look, it was good, but it wasn't. It wasn't my favorite out of them all. I really liked the other two stories. The other two stories were really, really good. They're actually way better than the first one because the first one was, yeah, it was about this doll right here. So, you know what we're doing? We're doing a summary. We also got to talk about the Stitch Wrath at the end too. So stick around to the end for the Itch Wrath. The Stitch Wrath. So let's do this. So if you don't know what we're doing with these, so what we do is I tell you guys the story of each of the three stories, and then I, do theories, and we summarize about it, and we talk about it. If you guys have any theories, please comment down below, because, the books, they do connect to the game. Well, Scott said that the books answer some questions from the game, so that's good. That's good. So yeah, also, a new book. I don't know what happened, but, there's a sixth book coming called Blackbird, and then there's also a seventh, but the seventh book coming. So, excuse me. So, let's go. Yeah, hold on, guys. Let me just. Oh, wait a minute. So, the first story of the book, 1:35 a.m. I really liked the story. I didn't. What I mean by that is I liked the idea of the story. The concept was pretty good. I reckon the concept was really good. So I didn't really like I did like it, but it wasn't the best. So I just like the concept of it. I liked the concept, the idea of the story. The idea of the story is really good. So yeah, 1:35 a.m. So there's this girl named Delilah, and she goes to this like yard sale or whatever, like a garage sale, and she's just looking around, and then she finds something. You can take a guess what she finds. She picks up a little doll, and she finds a doll, and she was like, "Oh, this doll, it looks like the child I've always wanted." So, a little bit of backstory on Delilah. She was married. She was married to this guy, and she wanted to have a child with him, and the child looked like this person, and she already named the child before she even had it. She called it Emma, and then she looked at the doll, and it looked exactly like Emma. So we'll get a photo up of this character. So then Delilah, she likes, she's like, and then she looks at there's a name tag, and it says, "Hello, my name is Ella," and she's like, Ella, that sounds a bit like Emma. It sounds, really familiar. It's strange, but I don't know. I don't know. It's a coincidence. I don't know if it's a coincidence or what it is. Um, so here, I'll get up the doll for you so you guys can see what it looks like. Um, then Delilah buys the doll, of course, because what it does is it has an alarm clock on it. It did say on the like the on the the little description of the doll, like the manual. Um, it said that it could do all these stuff like hold T. It could like it's got roller skates. It could have done a lot of more stuff, but all it could do, excuse me, was be an alarm clock, which is kind of sad. But anyway, so I'll show you a photo. So this is what the doll looked like. The doll, um, I'm gonna talk about some stuff later about the doll and how it's connected to the FNAF Silver Eyes books and stuff. So I'm not going too deep yet. I'm just saying the story. At the end of after I finish the story, I will tell you more about this doll. So that's Ella. She grabs Ella and takes her home. She buys her and she uses it as an alarm clock for work because she's always late for work. Well, she's not. Well, yeah, she's always late. And so she puts the doll down and, she sets an alarm clock. And then the alarm clock goes off, but it doesn't really go off the right time. It goes off the wrong time, and, she set it for 1:35 p.m., but it didn't really work. So, Delilah, what she did, grabbed the doll, gets out of her house, finds the nearest dumpster, and what she does, whoop, straight into the trash. Just throws the thing in the trash. Oh, hopefully I don't wreck the book. Whoops. She throws the Ella in the trash, and then one night when she's sleeping, she hears the alarm clock. She hears Ella, and guess what time it is? 1:35 a.m. Yeah, 1:35 a.m. That's the time that she wakes up. It's literally the title of the page of the book. And so she wakes up at 1:35 a.m. and she's like, oh, I must have set it for 1:35 a.m. instead of p.m. So she keeps... So, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this book because, I didn't really like it. Well, I like this story. The story's good, but, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's probably one of my least favorite stories out of all the books. Like, my, eighth favorite out of the 9 stories. It's, like, my 8th favorite book. Like, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that's my 8th favorite. So, then she keeps waking up at 1:35 a.m. for every single night. Like, it's a big streak. One time she heard it was like a bird or something. One time it was like, I don't know, something out banging, and she thought she saw Ella. She thought she saw, like, or she heard something moving in her bedroom one day, when, like, she thought she heard something in the roof. And she just thought she heard Ella walking across, which is kind of creepy, if you ask me. If you thought you heard something and she looked back and then there was nothing there, it was kind of scary. And so then she went back to the dumpster, looked in the dumpster, scurried around, and she couldn't find Ella. She looked everywhere, she couldn't find Ella. So Delilah was getting pretty sick of it, of waking up at 1:35 a.m. every night. Imagine that, guys, waking up at 1:35 a.m. every night. How would you guys feel? What would you do? That's just, Also, about 1:35 a.m., there's not really meanings for it. There's no, like, meanings online, or if it's, like, cursed or anything. There's no meaning. Look, if I type up 1:35 a.m. meaning, it just says it's 25 minutes to 2 a.m. It doesn't really mean anything. So I don't know why that was the specific time chosen. We don't know. So, Delilah keeps waking up and she keeps hearing these noises or whatever. So she gets sick of it. She gets sick of it, and then she decides she's got to, get out. Also, it's not her house. It's like a rented, like, she's in like a apartment or something. Like one of those places, you know what I mean? So she's not living in her own house because, she had a divorce with her husband, and, she's a little sad about it. She's pretty upset about it in the book. So, she figures, I can't stay here forever, so I'm gonna have to move. And so she goes to, like, her boss's, like, I think it's like one of her co-workers' places to stay, from work. And so she goes there, and, she sleeps there, and she's like, there's no way I'll wake up at 1:35 a.m. But guess what? She does. And she's really, really angry, and, she doesn't particularly enjoy it, and she has like a big, she gets so mad, and her friends tell her to calm down, and, like, she thought she heard something. She thought she could hear, like, an alarm. Like, she thought she heard, like, an alarm, but her friends couldn't hear it. And then, it was just a weird bit. And then she, she tries to, like, drive off. She drives off somewhere, and she just, like, she doesn't want to deal with Ella anymore, and she's like, oh, Ella will never find me out here, because she goes really far. She gets in her car, drives, like, far, I don't know where, but she went somewhere to, like, some sort of place, and she went really far away. And then this is where it gets really dark. All the endings to these stories are really dark. Like, something bad happens to each one of these characters in the story. So yeah, everything. So, excuse me. At the end of each story in this book, something really bad happens. Excuse me. So, Delilah, she finds a place that's being built. It's just a place being built. And so then, what she does is she sees some sort of, like, there's a vent there. She sees a vent. She saw an opening to a vent, and she went in the vent. And she knew that Ella couldn't find her, and I'm going to read the last page. Delilah's reach. She heard it impact something with a sharp crack. It must have broken because the space went dark. Delilah's shoulders wedged her so tightly into the compact metal enclosure, she knew she'd finally found it. This was where Ella couldn't find her. No one would find her here. Trying to move just to be sure, she confirmed that she was stuck, completely and thoroughly stuck. Her breathing slowed, she relaxed, she couldn't move in any direction. She'd never have to run from Ella again. Very, very dark ending. I wasn't expecting her to get into an event and just die like that. It was very strange. It was just out of nowhere. She sort of just went in the vent and died. I mean, yeah, Ella would have been really annoying. I can imagine getting up at 1:35 a.m. every day. That would be annoying, yeah, sure, but it doesn't mean you have to go into a ventilation shaft and, die. I mean, some people don't even get any sleep each night. I mean, that's just weird, man. It's just sucks what she did. Just threw her life away just because one doll was screwing her up. Maybe she should have never thrown it out. Also, I forgot to mention something. In the story, Delilah looks up Special Ella doll, and then there's this guy called, like, Dr. Phineas, and he says, like, she looks up Special Ella doll, and then one search comes up, and then she clicks on the search, and it says, oh, from Dr. Phineas. He says, oh, I need this Ella doll for its special power. You gotta remember that for later on, because there is stuff about Dr. Phineas later on in these stories, which, it's a full book review, so it's gonna be a long video, so it's gonna, just remember Dr. Phineas, and he wants Ella for her special powers. She has special powers. Remember that. So, then, so Delilah dies because of Ella. So, Now, theory time. So, 135 AM was a good story. I enjoyed it, but it was still, it was a little repetitive. Could have been a little different, but like, it's fine. It was a good story. I didn't mind it. Um, it was just one of my least favorite. It was just good. It was good though. I still like the story. So, Ella. I'll give you one more look at Ella. That's Ella there. This photo is from the Freddy files. And it matches. This Ella doll is from the other books, the Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, the Fourth Closet. You know those three books, yeah. This doll is from those books, and that doll here is this doll here. Look, you can see the differences. You can see the little bow in the hair, the rosy cheeks, the blue dress, and the same face shape, the same eyebrows. The not the eyebrows, but like the same. Oh, crap's gone dark. The same eyelashes. You can't really see them there, but they have the same eyelashes. You can't really see her eyes here, but she has the same hair as this doll. So those are from the books. So that means this book or these series of books must have taken place after the Silver Eyes and the Fourth Closet and all those other books. So these must have taken place after that. And this doll here, I don't know what Henry did with it, because Henry was the one who built the doll for his daughter Charlie, and Charlie's the puppet. So, excuse me. Henry throws out the, I don't know what Henry did with the doll, but he must have thrown it out. Someone must have found it somewhere. I don't know, someone must have found Ella, and then they must have took Ella, and they sold it for something, because they didn't want it anymore, and then Delilah picked it up. And then, I don't know where Ella is now, but she's somewhere. Well, she's definitely not going to Delilah again, we know that. So yeah, it's very interesting how Ella sort of teleports around the place, She could be in one room, then she just disappears, like as I said before while I was telling the story. Delilah thought she saw or heard Ella, and she was never there. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but this Ella doll, it must have, like, all of it had a lot more things. If you guys have read the Silver Eyes and stuff, which I haven't read, I really need to read them to understand more. I need to read them, so I'm gonna read them when I get the chance. It's just when there's all these books are finished, I'll probably be reading them. And so, yeah, so that's the same Ella doll. I don't know if these books and the other books are connected. I think they are, in a way. They should be, at least. They should be. And so, yeah, so then that's all I really have to talk about for 135am. So Ella is connected to the other Ella doll from the other books. So yeah, that's really it for 135am. I have no other theories. If you guys have some theories about why it's that time, it could be just a random time, I don't know. And yeah, so that's it for 135am. On to the next story, and I really enjoyed this story. Also, this was in my top 5 favorite stories. Room for One More. This was a good story. Room for One More was good. Do you want to know why it was good? Because it wasn't actually long. It had a lot of stuff was going on, and it wasn't a long story. It was only 50 pages long. It was, here, let me check. Yeah, 92 to 146. Yeah, it was only 54 pages long, unlike the 135am, which is 88 pages long. Unlike the other stories, that was actually short, and it had a lot more of the good stuff, the good juicy action and stuff. So a lot of stuff happened in this story, and it's about the mini arenas, and it's a really good story. It's It's my second favorite story out of this book. Out of this book, it's my second favorite. It's probably my fifth favorite story out of them all. Maybe even fourth. I don't know, but it's really good. It's really good. Room for One More is really good. So, Room for One More is about this guy named Stanley who is a night guard, and he's divorced too because every character in this in these books either um they left they were left behind by their parents, and they were orphaned, and they got divorced or something like that. So Stanley, which is the same name of one of Charlie's other toys, but that's irrelevant now. So Stanley works, tell me if this sounds familiar, at an underground facility with tiny mini arenas, and he's a night guard there. And yeah, he works. I'd say he works at the sister location. I think he works at the sister location. That's what I think. He works somewhere, at least somewhere near the sister location, somewhere like that. He's in an underground facility. Um, yeah, he's in the underground facility, working the night shift, and yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. So Stanley's working there. He's divorced, and he usually in the morning he goes to like this diner, and then there's this girl there that I don't know if he would have a crush on her, but like he sort of likes her, sort of, I don't know, but that girl, she just helps him out and stuff, if he needs help, she'll help him, and she's a nice girl that he meets at the city diner. It's called the city diner, and the girl does. And yeah, I think her name's Amber. Is it Amber? Uh, no, Amber was his wife that he divorced. I'm pretty sure. And he saw Amber with someone else, and yeah, it was pretty sad because he literally saw um his wife with someone else, and he's doing. I think he's doing with it well, but yeah. So he saw his wife with someone else at the city diner, and I was saying is the other guy, he saw his wife with someone else, and so then he goes to do his night shift, and he sees. He's looking around, checking the cameras, and he always sleeps on his when he's doing the night shift. Pay attention to that. That he sleeps. He always sleeps in the night shift. So he sees him like a little mini arena on the desk. You know the mini arenas from Sister Location, of course you guys know. So he sees a mini arena and is just sitting there, and then he looks at it and it says, "Take me home with you," and it wants to take him home. The mini arena wants Stanley to take it home. I don't know why, it just does. I'm just saying, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna take you home. And so then Stanley doozies off. He sleeps on the job. Like I said, that's what he does. And then he has this crazy dream about Funtime Foxy. So he's in a taxi. He's just driving around, and and there's no one around. Like, he's in the taxi and there's no people, no cars. Just the streets are empty. It's just him and the taxi driver in the taxi. And so then when he sees the road signs, it says Fazbear Road, Fazbear roads and stuff. And every street is like Fazbear Road. It's kind of strange, and he's like, this is weird. And so there's no one on the streets. It just says Fazbear Road, and then the cab driver turns around, looks at him, and it is a fox. A fox that is pink and white and has a big snout. Take a guess who that is. It's Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy is the cab driver, and then Funtime Foxy grabs Stanley, puts him, and it smashes the window. The window smashes, and Funtime Foxy grabbed Stanley, and then the dream ends. He wakes up, and then the mini ring is gone on his desk. So it was a pretty cool dream. I mean, I would have liked to have one of those dreams. It'd be really cool. So yeah, Funtime Foxy was a cab driver. I don't know what that really means, and it was a strange dream, but I don't know. I don't know. It was a sister location animatronics, so yeah. And so then Stanley wakes up. The mini ring is gone. I wonder where it's gone. I don't know. I don't know where it went. Went somewhere. And so Stanley, he he then, does his usual routine, gets breakfast, then he goes back to the night shift, and then there's another mini Reno on the desk saying the same thing. Oh, you've warm, you have warm, like, it feels his skin, and he's like, oh, you have squishy skin, and then, but this time the mini Reno was different. The mini Reno had like a torn ballet dress. The tutu had a torn tutu. And so then Stanley slept, woke up, didn't have a crazy dream this time, and excuse me. And the mini Reno is gone again. And so then he goes home, and then his arm, like when he wakes up after going back home, his arm's all swelled up. It's like huge, like his arm's huge. It's not like he has big muscles, like his arm's actually swollen up. So his arm. Oh, Jesus, sorry. His, his huge arm, he doesn't know what happened. It just feels weird and, swollen up. And so, and then he has that, and so then he goes back to work with his swollen arm. I think he gets it checked out at the doctor, and then the doctors don't know what it is. So and he goes back to work and with his swollen arm, and then there's another mini Rena there, but this time it doesn't have an arm. The arm's gone, and then it's just the same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Take me home, take me home. Your skin's soft, and so then he goes to sleep again, like a he's not a very good productive worker. So he goes to sleep, and then he has another dream, but this time it isn't about Funtime Foxy. It's about another one of the Funtime animatronics, and this one isn't as cool. So he's in a parking lot, and all the lights go out, blackout, big blackout, no more lights, it's all dark. Then he sees Funtime Freddy in there with him, and then Funtime Freddy opens his mouth up. I can't do this location jump scare, but the the loud noise, and then Stanley wakes up and he's scared and everything, and then the moon is gone again. And then his leg starts to swell up, which is even worse. So now his arm's swollen up and his leg's swollen up. Yeah, that's a good A. And so then he goes to work, which he really shouldn't be going to work with a swollen leg and a swollen arm. And then he finds another mini Reno. You get it. Goes to sleep. This time he has another dream. And this is one of the weirder dreams that I remember that that sorry, that I remember, there was, this was probably the weirdest dream out of them all. So, Stanley was at a dentist, and he was at the dentist, and so, then, the dentist was, there was Ballora as the dentist, doing work on him. So these are all Funtime animatronics. The only Funtime animatronic that, or circus animatronic, that didn't show up was Baby. Baby was the one person who didn't show up in any of his dreams. He only had 3 dreams. This is his last dream. So yeah, I don't know. Baby didn't show up. That's fine. And so he had his first dream was about Funtime Foxy in the cab, and the second dream was about in the parking lot with Funtime Freddy. And so then he's at the dentist. You know, he's laying down at the dentist, and then he sees Ballora as the dentist, and then she like does something to his teeth. I don't remember. And then her assistant is Enid. Her assistant is Enid, which is kind of weird. Or I don't know if it's the other way around. I think Enid's the dentist and Ballora's his assistant. I don't know. I can't remember now. So then he wakes up, and the other mini Rena he saw was gone. And then he goes back home, and then his neck, his neck's starting to bleed. Like when he swallows stuff, like it feels weird and stuff. Excuse me. And he refuses to go to the doctor. The girl at the diner, she said for him to go to the doctor, but he didn't really feel like going to the doctor. And so, I don't know, sometimes you just can't be bothered. And so he thought he had some sort of virus, and then he went to work, and this is where it gets deep. So whoa, I do not know what happened, but something happened there. So Stanley goes to work, and I'll read you the last page of the story. Voices. Stanley's thoughts were interrupted by tiny, muffled, little girlish voices. They were muffled because they were coming from inside of him. From his left arm, I like being inside of you. From his right leg, we like you. From his belly, you're so warm and squishy. Stanley stumbled backward, almost falling. Standing was becoming more and more difficult. The pressure was building inside of him, becoming unbearable. He felt like he might explode. Could that happen? Could a person actually explode? The tiny one-armed doll was standing framed in the facility's doorway, posed like she was about to do a pirouette. The yellow irises of her cavernous black eyes focused on Stanley like lasers. Her smile was wide. She might have been cute. Isn't there room for just one more? She chirped. All of Stanley's strength was gone. He fell to his knees. The one-armed doll leaped toward him with the grace of a ballerina. Stanley couldn't help it. He opened his mouth to scream. So the mini-arenas were crawling inside of him each time he slept. Never sleep on the job, guys, or then the mini-arenas or something's gonna crawl in your mouth. And you guys don't want that, trust me. You don't want that to happen just like what happened to Stanley. It's gonna be bad, so if I were you, never sleep on the job. Or something, I don't know, something might crawl in your mouth, you're gonna swell up, and you're gonna burst into a balloon. So Stanley met a bad end too, just like Delilah. Delilah got it a bit... I reckon Delilah got it worse than Stanley. We don't know if Stanley ever died in the end. He probably... I think he could have either exploded or something could have happened. We don't know. But, yeah, Stanley probably died later on. I reckon Stanley died. I reckon that's what happened to him. I reckon he died later. So, the mini-arenas, each time he slept right, guys, he was sleeping with his mouth open, and then the mini-arena, I don't really know how to demonstrate. I don't have a mini-arena, but, just pretend that this pen's a mini-arena. So the mini-arena crawls up, and when he's sleeping, the mini-arena goes into his mouth, like this. Like that, and then it goes down his throat. Then it swelled up, his arms started to swell up, and then his legs started to swell up, and then his neck. It's pretty dark what they did. It was strange, and I think I know why he had those dreams. He had those dreams because each time the mini arena went into him, inside of him, the mini arenas have seen, Ballora, and they've seen Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, so they probably did something, and then in his memories, he saw them and had those strange dreams. I don't know why a cab driver or a dentist, or I don't know why it was that, but you know, so he had those dreams because they were going inside of him. So they're probably gonna get inside of him and destroy, like kill him. They're probably gonna stop his heart or something. I don't know, but I reckon Stanley died after the story. So yeah, that's pretty scary ending. You, apparently, guys, you eat like 50 spiders when you sleep or something. Like you eat spiders. It's weird. It's weird. So yeah, the mini rings were crawling inside of him. It was very, very, very strange. Very creepy. So yeah, that was Room for One More. That was the reason why it's called Room for One More is so you can make room for one more of the mini rings to go inside of Stanley. Excuse me. You see, the title makes sense, doesn't it? So that was Room for One More. That was a really good story. It was my fifth favorite story, out of all of the stories. So it was really good. I really enjoyed Room for One More. Very interesting. It had a lot of action, which I think, and it was short too. Well, it wasn't short, but it was shorter than the other stories. I think the stories need more of this stuff, more of like more action. More stuff was going on with the dreams and things. That's what I think the stories need. I reckon I would have liked 1:35 a.m. a bit more if there was a bit more action in it. So yeah, yeah, and this was a shorter story too. The new kid and 1:35 a.m. they're really long, and the other stories too, they're long. So you see, look, this is a 240-page book right there. Oh, there we go. So yeah, 240 pages, and then the Stitch Wrath, so it's like 250 pages worth of stuff. That's how long the stories are. So I reckon why I liked this story more is because it was short and it was actually really, really awesome and good. So yeah, Room for One More, really good story. Comment down below what you guys think. More theories about the mini arenas and stuff. Down below. Comment down below some theories that you guys have on Room for One More. So, the last story of the book. This was my third favorite story out of every story. My first favorite story out of the three books was Into the Pit. Into the Pit was the best. My second favorite story was Lonely Freddy, and my third favorite story. No, you know what? This is my second favorite story. The New Kid was my second favorite story, and Lonely Freddy was my third favorite story. Because the New Kid was awesome. It was really good. Yeah, it's really, really good. The New Kid is great. And it had a really good ending too. So, the first half of the book, the first 40 pages, is, the boring stuff. But as soon as it reaches page 200, everything just it gets so good. So, Devon is the main star of this story. Devon goes to school as usual. He's not actually an adult, unlike these other characters in the book. He's a teenager, and he goes to school, and so he's telling a story about this bouncy castle, and these two girls called Haley and someone else I forget. Yeah, Haley and some other girl. And so the story he's saying is that, they go into this bouncy castle because it's a birthday party, and then the birthday party eats them up, the girls, and he named the girl Hallie, and he named the other girl whatever the other girl's name. He named it Hallie because there's this girl called Heather, and he likes Heather, and that's her sister's name. Heather's sister's name is Hallie, so he named the girl in the story Hallie. And he only read that story. The only reason he read that story to the class is because he wanted Heather's attention. Why did he want Heather's attention? Because he liked Heather. He actually really liked Heather. So he made a story about someone's name, about these characters' names that's okay. He made a story about a bouncy castle and he named the characters Heather's sisters' names. Excuse me, so he could get her attention. Excuse me. And so his teacher, Mrs. Patterson, is like, that's enough, because it got a bit too gory. Blood was coming out of the bouncy castle and stuff. It got too gory, and so she's like, that's enough. That's enough. Go to what's the principal's name? Hold on. Wait. Report to Mr. Wright's office. Go now. That's what the teacher was like. She got angry at him and she told him to go to the principal's office. So that's not the. And then Heather looked at him and then she was like, that's sick. And no, she didn't mean it like in the, oh, that's sick, dude. That's sick. She meant like, that's sick, not cool. And so she didn't like the story. And then, but still, I mean, he got her attention, but it wasn't good attention. He got her attention, but he didn't get the attention that is good. Well, and then Devil was like, yes, and he smirked back at her. He was happy that he got her attention, but I don't know why he was happy. It was the bad attention. It wasn't good attention, dumbass. It was the bad attention. It's not the attention that, she didn't. It's not like she liked him or anything. It's just like she looked at him and stuff. Anyway, also I only read The New Kid just yesterday. No, I only read The New Kid 2 days ago. So, this was the more recent story. The reason I didn't go into too much details on 1:35 a.m. is because I haven't read 1:35 a.m. from 3 weeks ago. I read 1:35 a.m. and Room for One More 3 weeks ago, so I didn't have as good as memory as I did as The New Kid because I only read this story recently. So yeah, anyway, let's not get off topic. So he goes to the principal's office, gets in trouble, and so then he still got the attention though, and he has a friend named Mick, and Mick is his best friend, and he only really hangs out with Mick. That's all he hangs out with, just Mick, and so he hangs with Mick, and oh no, sorry. So yeah, he hangs around with Mick, just him and Mick, just them two. No one else. He's just a little small group. That they hang just the two of them. They're not the cool kids. They're not popular. They're more of the kids that Also, Devin isn't really the nicest guy. He can be annoying sometimes, but he's kind of strange too. He's kind of a weirdo because he's into Heather, and since he got her attention, he's got really, worked up, like, he got really hyped up about it. He's weird. Devin's a weird kid. Yeah, and so then there's this new kid that comes. A new kid comes, and that's literally the name of the story, The New Kid. And so the new kid comes, and his name, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot his name. His name is oh, where is it? Oh, I know his name. Oh, hold on, just Kelsey. His name's Kelsey. The new kid's name is Kelsey. And Mick met Kelsey, and he introduced Kelsey to Devin. And so then Kelsey, Devin, and Mick became friends with Kelsey, the new kid. And so then Devin was like, Devin didn't really like Kelsey. He had some sort of strange feeling about Kelsey, like, no, she's the type of person that could do something bad, Devin didn't really have a good feeling about Kelsey. He didn't really like him either. He sort of hated. I won't say he hated him, but he disliked Kelsey. He didn't like him. And so there's this like this clubhouse that like it's like this. So Devin and Mick have this like clubhouse that they always go to, and they went to it, and it was gone. It was destroyed. They don't know what happened to it, but it was just sort of gone. And then Mick was upset, and so Devin Devon's like, we'll find a new clubhouse or a new clubhouse. I don't know what they call it, but they're four or whatever. They'll find. He's like, we'll find a new one. We're in it together, right? That's what they do. They have a good friendship, Mick and Devon. They really have a really good friendship, and they do this thing where they get their like pinky or their finger out, and they say, we're in it together. And what that means is they're in it together. So yeah, and then they do that with their fingers, and they say, we're in it together. And so they always say that whenever something bad happens, they just say, we're in it together. And so they're in it together, so they're gonna find a new clubhouse or something. And so Devon wants to go look for a new clubhouse for Mick, because Mick's upset about it. So then Kelsey starts hanging out with Mick and Devon. They actually hang out together, and yeah, they're having fun. Devon still sort of, doesn't like Kelsey as much. And so then Heather sort of walks up to Kelsey and says, hi and stuff to Kelsey, because Kelsey's a good-looking person. He's got blonde hair. He's good-looking. He's looks good. He's a handsome guy. It says in the book that he's handsome. And so he, so Heather walks up to Kelsey and she says hi to him, and then Devon, like, I think he says something to Kelsey, I can't remember, and then Kelsey pokes him. He's like, she pokes him, not a good poke, a bad poke. And then Devon's like, oh, she touched me, oh, see, I told you he's a weirdo. He's a weird guy, man. I don't know why he does that. It's strange, oh, she touched him, oh, so cool. It wasn't even a good touch either. It was just a touch, a poke, a pokey. She's like, pokey, and so she poked him. And then, she was more into Kelsey than Devon, as you can tell. And so then, Devon, he looks for a new clubhouse for Mick, and not really Kelsey, because he doesn't like Kelsey. So he actually finds one, but he says that later on in the story. So he says to Mick, oh yeah, I found a new clubhouse, we should go check it out. And so Mick's like, yeah, sure, we'll check it out. And then Kelsey, well, they don't check it out just yet, but Kelsey wants to go with Mick and Devon somewhere, and Kelsey has this neighbor, and he has like a truck. I forget his name, if I can find the part. So his neighbor has a truck, and he called up the guy, his neighbor, and he came in his big truck, and then they were gonna go to the clubhouse or something, or find a new one. And so they go, they're gonna go with him, but then Heather and her friends, they all come up, and they're like, oh, Kelsey, you want to come with us somewhere, and we can take the truck and something and stuff. And they start talking to Kelsey, and then Kelsey had a choice to either go with Mick and Devon to find the clubhouse, or he could go and be a simp. Yeah, I reckon Kelsey's a simp, and he could go with the girls. And then Devon's like, oh, he gets like really pissed. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't, punch Kelsey or anything. He just keeps it in his head, and he gets really, really angry. And so, then, sorry. And so then I think Kelsey goes with the girls. Simp. He's a simp. He's a simp. Kelsey's a simp. He's a simp. Yeah, that's right, he's a simp. I said it, he's a simp. Kelsey is a simp. And, so Kelsey simps with the girls. And, he simps with the girls, and, so then he goes with the girls. And then, the next day, their teacher, Mrs. Gentry, like one of their teachers, says, she's like, what is justice? She starts talking about justice and stuff. And she starts talking about justice and what she thinks about it. And then Kelsey says justice balanced the scales, which is sort of strange. And then she's like, interesting perspective. And then Mick, and then hold on, I'm just looking. And then Heather, the Mick Devon's crush, she says, "I think justice is payback," which no, it not really is. It isn't really. And then she says, like someone disses you, so you have to diss them back. Don't forget, guys. As soon as Heather said that, I'm like, I just start thinking about the diss track. The diss track that I'm doing. Yeah, that's right. I'm waiting for my diss track too, because they're, I'm just gonna refer them as Luke and his gang. Luke and his gang, they're making a diss track on me, so we're gonna diss them back. I mean, yeah. So, Heather isn't wrong. I mean, when someone disses you, I have to diss them back. So they're dissing me, so I have to diss them back. So soon this track's gonna be coming. I'm just waiting for them to release it, and then I'll release mine, I don't know, 3 weeks later when they release theirs. So, yeah, 3 weeks later, sorry, but, I need time to think about it. So, yeah, she thinks justice is payback, which, no, not, justice isn't necessarily payback, because then that's sort of like revenge. Revenge is more of like a payback. Justice is different. And so then, Kelsey, Mick, and Devon, they go. So Devon says, "Excuse me, just drink some water." Devon's like, "Let's go to the new clubhouse that I found," and then Devon and then Mick and Kelsey are like, "Yeah, let's go." So they actually go to the clubhouse, and what do you know? What do you know what the clubhouse is? It is a abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Because on the sign, there's a sign on their clubhouse, as they like to call it. It says, like the letters are covered, and then it says it says Faz, and then Pizza. It says Faz Pizza, and then we don't really. It doesn't show the full sign, but I think you guys know what we're talking about, right? It's Fazbear's Pizza. So it was an old pizzeria that shut down. Because in all these books, all of the pizzerias are shut down, apart from the Lonely Freddy story. That's the only story that there is a open Fazbear entertainment place. There's an open pizzeria there, and so then, hold on, guys. And so what the pizzeria looks like, guys, is think of the opening is Freddy's face. So Freddy's face is the entrance, like the archway, and Freddy's eyes are windows. So I imagine that the top floor was where so there was the Freddy head, Freddy's face. And then there's the entrance where you walk in. You walk into his mouth, and then you're in the pizzeria. And his eyes were two windows. There's not really a picture of it, but you know what I mean. So, yeah. So, sorry. And what else can I say? So yeah, they go into the place. If I'm trying to look for a photo, sorry guys, but I'm not going to be able to get a photo up for yeah. There's no really photo of the entrance, but you can imagine this is Freddy's head. His eyes are two windows, and his mouth is where you walk in. And so you go in, and Devon, he had a plan. He found this place, and he knew what he was going to do. Devon had some really, really nasty plan that he was going to do with Kelsey, because he didn't like Kelsey, and he wanted to, get him back for what he did at for getting back for simping with the girls on that day. Remember when, as I said before, when he went on the truck? Yeah, excuse me. Devon knew something about this place that that the other two boys didn't know. He knew something was there that he could do something to Kelsey. It's pretty nasty. But Devon, they look around the place, they see Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica, and then they say, "Oh, it's a chicken. It's probably a roast chicken." It was funny. And then, so then they see Foxy, and then Foxy, you can see like his hook coming out of the curtains, out of Pirates Cove, and then Devon's like, "Oh, look, Kelsey, something about that hook." What do you guys think he's trying to say? I think maybe, hold up, guys, I'll be back. Yeah, so they go in, they find some stuff, and then Devon wants to do his plan, what he found this place for. So Devon gets oh crap, what's his name? Well, Kelsey. He gets Kelsey when Mick's just going searching around the pizzeria, and then Devon gets Kelsey, and he lures Kelsey over here, like he tells Kelsey, "Oh, come here, look what I found." And then there's a golden Freddy suit, just like this, like Golden Freddy would be. And so, guess what's about to happen? You guys know what's gonna happen. Devon tells Kelsey, "Oh, why don't you try and get into the suit?" And then Kelsey gets in the suit. He gets in the suit, right? And then Mick comes up and he's like, "Oh, where's Kelsey?" And then Kelsey's like, "Oh, I'm in here." And he talks in the suit. And then Kelsey's like, "Oh, I can't get up, but I can move my arms around." And he just starts doing this with his arms. And then there's a huge snap noise. It is very loud. A huge, like, snap noise. And then there's like this clanking, loud noises. It's and then, here, I'll show you. So, and then there's a cascade of snapping sounds, dozens of steel animal traps, and then Kelsey started screaming, "Ah!" The golden Freddy suit starts twitching. Ah! What's coming out, It wasn't the suit that was screaming, it was Kelsey. The blood coming out all over the suit, and then it's going towards Mike and Mick and Devon. The blood spreading out everywhere. Very, very gruesome what happened to Kelsey. And so then they both started crying, Mick and Devon, and they were just sitting there for a little while, and then Mick was like to Devon, "Did you do this on purpose?" And then Devon's like, "No, I didn't do it on purpose. I just wanted to leave him in the suit for an hour and come back. I didn't expect that to happen." And then yeah, and so they had a little bit of an argument, because Mick thought that Devon did it on purpose, but he didn't. Well, he did want. So what Devon wanted to do is he wanted Kelsey to get into the suit, and he wanted him to stay. He wanted to leave Kelsey in the suit for an hour, but he didn't expect the spring locks to snap on him. So yeah, it's pretty scary. And then Devon's like, "Mick, we've got to get out of here." So the boys, they run off. They get out of the place, and they swear to tell no one. They say that we're in it together. They don't tell anyone. And then Kelsey went missing. Everyone at the school was worried. And then and then Devon goes goes to Mick's house, because Mick was a bit sick, after what they saw happen to Kelsey. And so then Mick was like, I want to go see if Kelsey's still alive, because he could be still alive and we just left him there." And then Devon's like, "I'll go, you stay." And then he said, "Promise to tell no one where I am, and tell them that I am sick, that I'm homesick, that he's sick. And then Mick is like, okay, and then they're like, we're in it together. So Devon went back to see if Kelsey was still alive, and so he tried to open up the Golden Freddy suit. He couldn't open it up. But he brought some stuff though, so he opened up the suit. Well, he tried, and he tried to stick his hand in there. He, as Devon sticks his hand in the suit, like the mouth chomps on his arm. He's stuck in there. He can't get it out. He's just screaming. It's in pain, blood everywhere. And Devon just tries to get it out. He tries to pull it out, pull it out. And it's not going so well. Devon tries everything. He tries to open up the suit. He can't. His arm's stuck because of the teeth. I don't know, but like when the Golden Freddy suit chomped down on Devon, I think it got like stuck on his arm and he can't get it out. Get it, come on! It's not working. It's not working. And then then the suit opened up, like the mouth opened up a little bit, and then Devon could see inside to see if Kelsey was in there. He looked in there. Kelsey wasn't there. He saw black hair. Black hair, not blonde hair, black hair. It wasn't Kelsey. Kelsey wasn't in the suit. Kelsey wasn't in the suit. It was just black hair. And so then Devon is stuck there, bleeding to death. And I am going to read the final page. Someone bumped into Mick, and he dropped his backpack. He bent over, picked it up, and went to class. Also, there was a weird noise that Devon heard. And yeah, it's not over. There's still more. There was a weird noise that Devon heard, and now Devon's just stuck with his arm stuck in the Golden Freddy suit, and Kelsey isn't in the suit. Now I'll read the last page. Someone bumped into Mick, and he dropped his backpack. See, it's not over now. It's going on to Mick. He bent over, picked it up, and went to class. In English class, Mick was reading his poem over and over while Miss Patterson did roll call. He was so into it, he jumped when Miss Patterson called out, "Mick, here!" "Yes, I know you're here. I asked if you know where our budding horror writer is." "Huh? Devon? Where's Devon?" Excuse me. "Oh, sorry, he's homesick." "Okay." Mick smiled. He'd done his part. In it together for as long as it takes. Kelsey leaned against the column in the rotunda. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Kelsey leaned against the column in the rotunda of his new school. He watched the other kids, and he smiled or nodded at everyone who passed him, saying "hey" when someone said hello. His gaze kept returning to a couple of boys who lingered outside the front doors of the school. One of the boys wore all black, the other wore ragged jeans and a faded t-shirt. Other kids coming into the school ignored the boys or gave them scathing looks. Both boys occasionally snickered at the passing kids. Kelsey pushed off the column and strolled toward the boys as they finally sauntered into school. He stopped in front of them and said, "Hey, I'm Kelsey. I'm new here." Both boys eyed him, brows raised. He gave them each a big friendly grin. "So," Kelsey said, "any cool places to hang out here?" What an ending. Kelsey was never in the suit. Well, he got in the suit, but he's alive. How is he alive? I reckon Kelsey escaped the suit. I don't know how, but I reckon he escaped the suit. He must have. He had... I don't know, but Kelsey is, like... There's no way. He must have escaped the suit. There's no way he could have, survived that. Like, he had to have escaped. I don't know who... How was there a person with black hair in there? How was there a person with black hair? And, had blue eyes, too, I think. I don't know, but, like... How? How? It's just that it's very, very confusing. and it's just strange because how it. Oh, sorry about that. Uh, um, it there's got to be something with that. Like, I reckon Kelsey could Kelsey could have been Kelsey could have known that there was that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza there, and he could have known that that was gonna happen. Like, Kelsey could have been up to something. He could have known. We don't know. It doesn't say anything about it. So I reckon. And you see, what about Cassidy though? Is there Cassidy? Like the person with black hair in the suit? Cassidy had black hair too. So could that have been Cassidy in the suit? Maybe, but like it's so confusing because how is Kelsey alive? I mean, it's very rare to survive a springlock failure. It's very, very rare for that to happen. I don't know how Kelsey did it either, but he did, and it's just such a strange ending, and it was a really big twist too. That Kelsey is alive. Maybe is Kelsey a robot? Because I mean, Devon had theories that Kelsey could have been a robot. He might have been a robot, and he might be someone who lures kids to, you know, put them in springlock suits, and like he lures them, and I mean, it's possible, but we don't know much about Kelsey, and we don't know much about what really happened, and so my theory is that the person with the black hair is possibly Cassidy, and I reckon Kelsey must have escaped the suit, and then now Devon's just gonna stay there dead, and Kelsey might lure more people to get in the Golden Freddy suit. It's possible. It's possible. We don't know. But Devon's definitely dead. We know he's done. He's dead. He's finished. So, now, comment down below what you guys think happened, because it's just very confusing. A very confusing bit. So, now I think you guys know what this is. The Stitch Wraith. The Stitch Wraith. We're up to the Stitch Wraith. This is the most important. This is the best Stitch Wraith story. Has the most lore in it, and it has some really good lore. Some really good lore. So I'll tell you what happened. So, Detective Larson gets a call from the chief saying the Stitch Wraith has been spotted at the same burnt down place. So the Stitch Wraith has been to this burnt down place twice. It could have been Fazbear's Fright, we don't know. It could have been any of the FNAF locations that burnt down. So the Stitch Wraith has been there twice, and so the Stitch Wraith is been spotted there again. And so then we get introduced to this character called Dr. Phineas. And remember what he wanted at the start of the book in 1:35 AM? He wanted the Ella doll for its special powers. And so Dr. Phineas starts explaining some really cool stuff that could really, really, be connected with the lore. Dr. Phineas says that emotions are more powerful than a bullet. Yeah, emotions like sadness, fear, anger, happiness, agony, all of that. And he says that the most powerful emotion is agony. Agony fuels things. Like, say, just say that, and he says that, a mirror could have agony because a man, murdered his whole family while the mirror was there, and that's mirror has agony in it, and the Ella doll has agony in it because of what it did. The Ella doll has agony too. So, like, let's just say as example, this controller could have agony in it because let's just say I got angry and I smashed the controller and stuff. Or no, well, it wouldn't really have agony, but like, I think you get what I mean. I think you understand what I mean. Just Pretend this is a bat, right? This is a bat, and I hit someone with the bat, then they're gonna be in pain, agony, because this, the bat's hit someone, boom, boom. So, yeah, the bat hit someone. That's agony in the bat. It could have hit multiple people. It could be a weapon. A knife would have a lot of agony in it because it stabbed people and stuff. You get what I'm saying? Agony is the most powerful emotion in this universe, and Remnant has like agony in it too, sort of like because it's agony is what fuels the characters. It could fuel all these animatronics. The Spring Bonnie. You know how when he died, the eye sockets were gone. It was just hanging there. It could have agony inside of the Spring Bonnie. And so what happens is then Dr. Phineas searches through some stuff. He has like stuff in his there's like this box of all stuff with agony in it. He pulls out an endoskeleton, puts it on the table, and there's this robotic dog, which is Fetch, which has a lot of agony in it, as you know. He grabs Fetch's battery, or like his power core, puts it on the the endoskeleton, grabs a doll's head, which is Ella's head, and puts it on the endoskeleton's face, and then the endoskeleton gets powered up, and it kills Dr. Phineas. Dr. Phineas dies, and then black tears come out of his eye sockets, and then there's this shipping crate that's getting moved, like the shipping truck that's taking all of Dr. Phineas's stuff away because he's dead, and the endoskeleton's in there too. And I'll read the last part, the last page of the Stitch Wrath. Let me just get it up. Investigated and announced that they supposed some kind of electrical discharge killed Phineas. Reuben wasn't so sure. He spent the rest of the day trying to not see Phineas's body in his mind's eye. He didn't want to see that or the weird lab with its wilting exotic flowers. He especially didn't want to see the black tear streaks that had stained the dead scientist's face. In the middle of the stack of Phineas's belongings on a Flynn's truck, the energetic being lay under a large heavy tarp that smelled like turpentine. Its metal extremities vibrating with the rumble of the truck engine. The being sat up, turning, it surveyed its surroundings until its gaze landed on a pile of clothing. The being grabbed the cloak from the pile and slipped it on. That's the Stitch Wrath. The endoskeleton that Dr. Phineas created is the Stitch Wrath. This is the origins of the Stitch Wrath. This is the first, this is the origins of the Stitch Wrath right here. This is the origins. So, agony fuels these characters. It's agony. So, that could explain a lot. It could explain a lot about the FNAF games with agony. It's a lot. Guys, you got to comment down below what you guys think about it. It's a very, very, very important story. It was a good story. 1:35 AM, really good. My second favorite book out of the series so far. Next book, Step Closer. Hopefully, it's going to be a bit earlier. Sorry, this took me a little while. So, next book, Step Closer. It's about Foxy. And then there's this other one that's about, like, I don't know, like this guy who burnt himself and stuff. And then this is one about Ballora. And then there's one about, and then Bunny Calls after that, and then Blackbird, and then there's a seventh one. So, next is Step Closer. Step Closer should be good. I reckon Step Closer is going to be good. So, please leave a like, guys, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. We're going to be doing Dang and Ronpa, as you know. And, yeah. So please leave a like, guys, and subscribe. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's book review, because I reckon this was one of the good ones, one of the best stories, one of the best books. Really good stuff, man. Stitch Wrath, still, agony, it's big. It's a big thing, a real big thing. Please like, guys, and subscribe.